The Minnesota Vikings are facing a massive crossroads as the draft approaches next week, and the biggest risk isn't who they pick, but who they might lose very soon. If our front office doesn't act now, we could see a major hole in our offense that ruins the momentum Kevin O'Connell has built. We need to find a way to keep this team winning long after current contracts expire. Before we dive into the names that could change everything for our purple and gold, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an insider update. Kenyon Sadiq is a name that every Vikings fan needs to remember as we head into the first round of the draft. This young man from Oregon is a special athlete who could solve a problem we might not even realize we have yet. Right now, we have a great star in TJ Hawkinson, and we all love what he brings to the field every Sunday. But there is a real situation developing behind the scenes because Hawkinson will be a free agent after the next season. If we don't have a plan for the future, our passing game could take a massive step backward. This is why many people are starting to talk about taking a tight end with the 18th overall pick. This prospect is not just a regular player because he has the kind of speed and power that makes defensive coaches lose sleep at night. He is a big-time athlete who can run past linebackers and then use his physical strength to block like a seasoned veteran. Some fans might wonder why we would draft a tight end when we already have good players at that position. It is a fair question, but the answer is quite simple. We want to make sure the team stays strong even if we can't keep every expensive veteran. This young man would not have to be the primary target right away, which is actually a great thing for his development. He could play in special packages as a rookie and learn the system while the pressure is low. Then, when 2027 arrives, he would be ready to step into a featured role and keep the offense moving forward without missing a beat. It is about being smart and thinking one step ahead of everyone else in the league. We have seen teams fail because they waited too long to find a replacement for a departing star, and we do not want that to happen in Minnesota. Taking this explosive athlete would be a bold move, but it is the kind of move that championship teams make. He has the explosiveness to get open in the passing game and the toughness to win as a blocker. If the Vikings see him as the best player available, they should not hesitate to pull the trigger and bring him to the Twin Cities to help us win. Caleb Downs is another name that is causing a lot of excitement and tension inside the Vikings facility right now. He is a safety from Ohio State, and many experts believe he has the talent to be an all-pro player very early in his career. The big question is whether we can actually get him because he is expected to be a very high pick. Some people think he might slide down the draft board just a little bit because safeties aren't always valued as highly as quarterbacks or edge rushers. If this young star starts to fall past the top 10, the Vikings might have a very difficult decision to make. Brian Flores is our defensive coordinator, and he loves players who are versatile and smart. This prospect fits that description perfectly because he can play all over the field and diagnose plays before they even happen. He is the type of defender who makes everyone around him better, and he would be a perfect fit for the aggressive scheme that Flores likes to run. However, moving up to get him would cost a lot of draft capital. We would likely have to trade away multiple picks to jump from 18 into the top 10. Is one defensive star worth losing the chance to draft other young players later? That is the gamble the front office is considering. This safety is a truly special talent who didn't even run at the combine because his college tape is so impressive. He is a sure tackler and a ball hawk who can turn a game around with one single play. If the Vikings believe he is the missing piece for a championship defense, they might be willing to pay the high price to go and get him. We have seen how much a great safety can change a defense, and this young man has all the tools to be a legend. But we have to be careful not to give away too much of our future for just one player. It is a high-stakes game of poker, and the draft clock is ticking louder every day. The fans want a star, and the coaches want a winner. This young prospect represents both, but the cost to bring him to Minnesota will be the biggest talking point of the entire weekend for our scouting department. This draft matters so much because it will determine if the Vikings can actually win more games and become a real contender again. We aren't just looking for players to fill out the roster for 1 year, because we want to build something that lasts. When we talk about taking a tight end or a safety in the first round, we are talking about the health of the team for the next 5 seasons. If we make the right choice, we will have a young core that can grow together and compete for a Super Bowl. If we make the wrong choice, we will be stuck in the middle of the pack, which is the worst place to be in the NFL. We need players who can come in and make an impact immediately. This is not about complex strategies or long-term visions that take years to develop. It is about putting the best possible athletes on the field so we can score more points and stop the other team from scoring. Simple as that. We have 4 picks in the top 100, which is a rare opportunity to add a lot of talent in a very short amount of time. If we use those picks on the right guys, like a dominant blocker or a fast receiver, the results will show up on the scoreboard right away. Fans deserve to see a team that can compete with the best in the league every single week. We want to see our offense moving the ball with ease and our defense making big hits. Every pick we make next week carries a lot of risk, but it also carries a lot of hope. If we can find a few starters who play with heart and toughness, we will be in a much better position to win the division. The fans in Minnesota are some of the most loyal in the world, and they want to see a winner. Making the right decisions in the draft is the only way to make that happen. We have to be smart, and we have to be bold. This is our chance to turn things around and show the rest of the league that the Vikings are back and ready to fight for a title. The stakes could not be any higher for this organization right now. The tension is rising as we look at the different paths the Vikings could take next weekend. Let's look at the best-case scenario first. Imagine we stay at 18 and Kenyon Sadiq is still there for us to take. We draft him, and he immediately becomes a mismatch nightmare for every defense we face. He learns from our veterans, and by the end of the year, he is scoring touchdowns and helping us win playoff games. That would be a dream come true for the fans and the coaching staff. But there is also a worst-case scenario that we have to talk about. What if we trade away our future picks to move up for a player who doesn't work out? What if we pass on a great talent because we were too worried about a position that isn't a priority? If we miss on these early picks, it could set the franchise back for years. We would be left with an aging roster and no young stars to take over. That is the fear that keeps general managers awake at night. The margin for error in the NFL is very small. One bad decision can lead to a losing season and a lot of empty seats in the stadium. We have to decide if we want to play it safe or if we want to take a big swing. Taking a big swing is exciting, but it can also be very dangerous. If the swing misses, everyone loses their jobs. If the swing connects, you become a hero. This is why the draft is so emotional for everyone involved. We are talking about the lives and careers of young men and the future of our favorite team. Every time the phone rings on draft night, the pressure goes up. We need to be sure that whoever we bring in is a person of high character who wants to work hard. We need players who will fight for every yard and never give up. The difference between winning and losing often comes down to just a few plays. We want to make sure we have the players who can make those plays when it matters most. The next week will be full of rumors and speculation, but the truth will be revealed soon enough. We are all waiting to see which path the Vikings choose to walk. To wrap this all up, the Minnesota Vikings are entering one of the most important drafts in recent history. We have the chance to add elite talent like Kenyon Sadiq, or even make a massive move for a star like Caleb Downs. The decision made next week will echo through this organization for years to come. It really comes down to a simple choice. Do we build for the future now, or do we wait and hope for the best? Be honest with me. Would you be happy if the Vikings used their first-round pick on a tight end, even though we already have a star at that position? It is a tough question that has fans split right down the middle. I want to hear what you think about this strategy. Your opinion matters to this community, so please leave a comment below and let's get the conversation started. If you enjoyed this deep dive into our team's draft plans, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We will be here all week with more updates and insider info as we get closer to the big night. Thanks for watching, and Skol Vikings.